All right. Hello, everyone. We are here with Megan today, and I'm so excited because she is part of the Root and Rewire membership, and she has an incredible story to share. She's going to share her wins, her breakthroughs, things that she had to overcome along this journey. And I'm excited for you all to listen because I was just asking Megan before if she's listened to other people's, journey before jumping into the membership, and she has. And it's so inspiring to hear other people who have gone through this journey. It's one thing to hear from me, but it's another thing to hear from other people who've walked through this journey themselves. So you're in for a special treat today, just hearing Megan's story. So Megan, thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Amazing. So let's go back to before you even joined the membership. I remember actually there was one call that you shared on the call, and you said that you'd followed me for a little while, and
Yes.
then something happened, you unfollowed, and then you came back. So why don't you
Yeah.
go ahead and share that story? Because I feel like that would be a good way to kick off this call if you feel comfortable.
Yes, yeah. And it's so funny because before I admitted that, I had heard, I don't remember if it was in one of your teachings where you had actually said yourself that you had kind of ghosted your coach. And I was like, oh, so it's normal. So maybe she won't be offended if I tell her this.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I had, been dealing with my own struggles with my relationship with food for quite some time. And I just kind of stumbled upon you on Instagram. And, I was really interested in all the things that you had to say. I think I really liked your energy and, just hearing things that I had never heard anyone else say before about these types of, relationships with food. So yeah, instantly I think I was just kind of drawn to you. And so I had followed you for some time, and I started listening to your podcast and just hearing some of the other stories. And I think, looking back on it, it's probably, kind of a divine timing thing. I think sometimes we have to hit more of like a really sturdy rock bottom to be like, okay, maybe I do need the help. And so throughout that kind of process, I started to get kind of annoyed of how happy you were and how, you had already overcome it. And, maybe that was just something I was envious of. And so I think it started to like chip away at me and make me feel, annoyed. But yeah, so I stopped following you for a minute, and then, I think I hit that point where I was like, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready. I need the help. I know that I need the help. So I immediately followed you back. And that's when I reached out to you. And, I feel like you made things very easy. You kind of laid everything out there, what you offer, and, there was some kind of something for everyone, which I really appreciated, and also appreciated that you weren't so pushy, because I have reached out for coaches and stuff before, and they made me feel bad about myself if I couldn't afford them, or just, it just was, I was scared to reach out to someone else in that way because I was afraid they were going to make me feel like the others did, where I just felt like I didn't belong because I didn't have that money right then and right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's what really originally drew me to you, and what kind of got me to the point of, just realizing I need more than just counting on myself. I need the group. I need, guidance.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing, and I'm sure someone else listening probably has done that as well too. And I mean, even the way that I see people even coming into my spaces, like I want it to feel in alignment for you, just as it feels good for me. Like I would never want to have someone who's not ready. They're not going to come in and put in the work, or it's not going to feel good. So like what's the point? You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it's actually funny because I used to do like sales calls. I used to get people on calls, and I'm like, this feels so not good. I'm not doing that. Let's chat in the DMs. If it's a vibe, it's a vibe. If not, it's all good. Um,
Yeah.
so do you think that you were at rock bottom? And if you did, like what did that actually look like? What were you doing with your relationship with food when you did reach out? Like what were the biggest things that you were kind of overcoming or working through?
Yeah, I think it was just those endless cycles of like doing really good and then doing really, really bad and just not being able to find that happy balance. I was just, everything was very habitual, and it's really interesting. I learned in one of your teachings about how when we label ourselves as something, we start to act upon that. And when I really kind of retraced, my binging, I don't think I actually had a true binge until I had labeled myself a binge eater. I
Mm.
think I was just an overeater, or I would be more like a mindless snacker, but I don't
Yeah.
think I was a true binge eater until I gave myself that title.
Yeah.
And so it was really eye opening, realizing the power of just like labeling ourselves and just how it's like our brains are a lot smarter than we think they are. They follow through with what we say. So that was, I think, a really interesting piece for me, was just, I think, learning all the differences between true binge eating and, overeating and mindless snacking and just all of those types of things. So, yeah, that was, I think, a big one for me.
Yeah, and it's so true, right? It's like we don't have to, like, I mean, there are some good identities, right? Like I'm determined and I'm inspired, but when it comes to all these like habitual cycles, it literally like we literally say this is who I am. I don't even have an urge today, but this is who I am, so I'm literally going to go and sabotage because that's who I am. So it does make a huge
Yes.
difference. And now
Oh, yeah.
what drew you to my process? I heard you say, like, I've never heard you say things before that maybe other people haven't, you haven't heard other places. What was that? Like, what drew you to me in my process specifically?
I can't remember what specific reel or whatever it was that I saw, but you said something that I felt like seen. I felt like no one has ever made me feel seen before, or like you just said something that I could relate to on such a deeper level that I just hadn't really, heard of before with other coaches. I've heard them more talking about just like, oh, it's all about the breath work and doing tapping and this and that. And like, and I'm sure that works for some people, but I think it was just the relatability that I had with you. And then after listening to the podcast and everything too, I was just thinking like, yeah, I feel like she seems just more down to earth, more like me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I love that. So let's go into like some wins and some celebrations. What do you feel like? Is there anything that kind of like, stands out to you in terms of celebrations that you want to share with everyone?
Yeah, I feel like I've had quite a few pretty good wins. And I think one of them is knowing that I'm not going to have, I'm going to have a good day and I'm going to have a bad day, but that's okay. And really kind of leaning into that's okay. You're not perfect. But these little bits, just being more conscious about when I'm eating, why I'm eating, how I'm feeling, and just really kind of tuning back into myself and my intuition, has been just huge for me. I feel my mom always told me I was a very intuitive eater as a kid,
Yeah.
and that my signature move was I always left a few bites left.
Yes.
I didn't grow up in a household where they forced me to eat everything. So it just, I knew that it was in me. And so it was great to kind of like revisit that part of myself and just knowing that you are capable of doing this. You don't have to self sabotage. Like you were, yeah, just be who you were.
Yeah. And do
Are.
you feel like because you had that moment of always kind of feeling like you were this intuitive eater deep down, like, I mean, obviously we were all born intuitive eaters, but that was kind of your story of you were never, forced, clean your plate, and you were intuitive. Do you feel like that kind of gave you the self-belief even along this journey that you would be able to overcome it?
I think so. I think I've always been a very determined person, but it
Yeah.
takes a lot for me to really want something to like really act on it, I think. So yeah, I think I'm also that person that you talk a lot about how we just, when you're told to do something, you're not, I'm not going to want to do it. I tell myself to do something, I'm going to go do the opposite.
Yeah.
So kind of realizing how much that affects my day to day too. And just honestly, like just kind of making fun of myself, being like, "Oh, you're being so silly. Like,
Yeah.
you want to do this. It's okay to do it." Like,
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So, how about that other win most recently about like the donut? So, you went to this donut shop. you got the donut, they threw in a few extra donuts, and normally you would eat them, obviously, if they're there.
Yeah.
And you shared that you just went with your husband, you had the one donut, and it literally just felt like effortless for you to stop. I want you to like talk about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. No, that I think was like my big breakthrough moment.
Yes. Yeah.
Just, I think I started to realize what tools worked best for me. And I heard someone say that they like to take 3 deep breaths before they even start eating their food. So I have incorporated that. I've realized breath work is just what works best for me,
Yep.
breath work and some meditation. So I feel like just, with doing a little bit more meditation and just feeling a bit more grounded just through doing those exercises on a regular basis, I think I have gotten to where I'm not in such a heightened state anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I went into this donut shop, just not in that already heightened state. And I just listened to my body, had that one donut. And even though, yeah, I had 2 or 3 extras that they threw in for free, I felt comfortable without it and thought, yeah, I can have these later. They're not going anywhere. I don't need to ruin this pleasant feeling I have right now. And to just kind of really sit in that feeling and just, relish in like, I feel good. I can still eat donuts or, sweets and not overdo it and feel good.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And like, it's just a random day out with your husband. Like, and this is the thing. It's you probably didn't say, okay, I'm gonna go to the coffee shop and I'm gonna, or the baker, I'm gonna get one donut. It was like you were just intuitive, and that's how it happened.
Yeah. No, the whole thing of just like, yeah, we feel like having something sweet this morning. Like, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And just the whole thing was just a very go with the flow, and I didn't feel anxiety. I think for me, also through this program, is just realizing how much when I am about to like binge or when I'm about to just like, you eat your dinner, you're full, and then I would just immediately go into snacking. Like that was my habit. It was just like after dinner, it was just like eat whatever you can, anything that's there.
Yeah.
So just not being in that heightened state of mind, and I still get that heightened feeling right after I'm done with my meal, but I'm able to sit with it now and just kind of calm myself and realize how much of a heightened state I actually am in because I wasn't really aware of that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the power of rewiring your brain. It's like, no, I'm actually not going to act on those urges. And then it just becomes easier over time. And I think you even shared a win also about how it used to be hard for you to not give into your urges and then it just became easier over time. And you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and I think that comes a lot from just that self-awareness of that heightened state.
Yeah.
I think for me, and also just I said before, like making it kind of funny, like kind of being able to like make fun of myself because we see this like, oh, I'm a binge eater, I have this, or all
Yeah.
these like negative, there's such like a sadness to it when it's you talk about topics like this. So, for example, like putting a name to your urge and talking to your urge, like I would just be like, not today, Big Bertha, not today. Like, just like Bertha has come to town and I don't know, she's kind of annoying. I don't really want to hang out with her. So, like, bye, Bertha. So, kind of
Literally.
just
Yes.
being silly with it, like for me personally, that I think helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And then also the tool that you have where just get up, shake it out.
Yes.
Well, that eventually for me turned into like, I'm gonna box Bertha. Like,
Oh my God. This is
no
the
way.
whole
It's
thing.
like, because it just was like silly and made it more fun. And of
Yes.
course, like when things are more fun, they're gonna stick better and you're gonna feel better about yourself because you can just be a little more lighthearted with it. So
Oh,
those are kind of the things that I incorporated to kind of just like ease the weight of it all.
yeah, I know. It's like even tools like meditation, I think people take it so seriously. Like I share this often. It's like I need to be like upright and like in this quiet place in my zen zone. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can be in the shower just like meditating. Like it doesn't have to be so serious. This journey doesn't
Yeah.
have to be so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to the identity too. It's like if you identify yourself as a binge eater, it's like, oh my God, I have to like heal this like part of me. And it's like, no,
You
it's
feel like it's this like deep demon within you or something.
yes.
So to just like, yeah, make it just like it's Big Bertha. It's like crazy at Bertha. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's not this
Yes.
dark demon. It's just like, she's annoying, get away.
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels a lot easier to heal because you have fun along the journey, which is
Hmm.
fantastic. What other areas of your life do you feel have gotten better as a result of you just being more intuitive and, getting rid of these habitual cycles?
Yeah, I think it's helped me out with just like other habits too. I before this, I was always really big into I've always loved my morning routine, and a lot of that did consist of doing meditations and journaling and things like that. But it was never quite something like my phone always got in the way. So it's like I'd have good weeks where I'm like, oh, I feel so good when I'm not on my phone right away. But then I'd always go back to just morning scrolling. So through this process and, just hearing you say like, yeah, these are the tools that really, really helped me. And I'm like, oh, well, I was kind of on that path. I know that it works for me. I just need to be more consistent with it. And, I think it was just another push to push me in that right direction.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think it just, yeah, it got me to think about so many different facets of life, not just with like food and stuff. It's just like, we said, you're a life coach. You're not, this isn't just about food. This is about just habits in your brain and just all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's, it's so important for people to hear because, yes, it's like work on your relationship with food, break these cycles, eliminate your urges. Yes. But it's like you can implement so many of these tools into other areas. If you're anxious going into a work meeting, you can use the breathing techniques. Or if you have a difficult conversation, like there's so many other areas you can even implement these tools. And this is your life we're talking about, So
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
just relationship with food. It's body image, it's mental health, it's energy, it's focus, it's clarity, it's so many other areas. So I love that
Yeah.
you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Anything else you feel you want to share or, with you going through this process, you know, and maybe thinking back to the version of yourself maybe that got triggered at the beginning and now you've actually gone through this, like what would you say to somebody that might also be in that like triggered or fearful state that, is afraid to kind of take that step?
Yeah. Well, I think from my own experience, I had to hit that point of like knowing that I would commit to myself. I think we go through that phase, and I think you've even said it before. It's like you get to this point where you're like, do I really want to quit? Like, I really like this. This is kind of fun. This feels good. Nothing else makes me feel this good. Do I really want to let that go, kind of a thing? So I think it was just you get to a point where you're ready to surrender,
Yep.
and I think you have to kind of be at that point to, really have that, I guess, motivation to just show up.
Yes.
And then I think once, you start, listening to all the different master classes and everything and just feeling heard and seen for the first time, it was like as if you were speaking out of me, like with those experiences. And just, I've never met anyone else with this, I guess, issue with food. So it was just being, yeah, submerged into a whole group of people that feel you, see you, like, it's a great, community to be a part of because, yeah, I think honestly, just feeling seen and heard is half the battle.
Yes.
Like, I think just acknowledging that that you're not alone in this, and there is something you can do about it. And you just have to really surrender to the process. That's all I can truly say is like, I've had those days where I'm like, this isn't working. This isn't working. Like, what am I going to do? And so I keep thinking of that analogy you make about how it's like you have an axe and you're at a tree and you just you're chipping away, and it looks like nothing's happening. But then I had that major breakthrough. So I think just keep pushing through, keep surrendering, even when you think it's not going to work, because eventually you're going to see that. And then you get so excited when you have that major breakthrough
Yes.
because it's possible, and you just keep going on that because it makes you feel so much better than overeating ever did.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think when you're in that part of just like, this is the only thing that makes me feel good, you
Mm-hmm.
don't realize that, like, it's hard until you actually get that, like, really big, good feeling. But
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, you have to, like, trek through the mud before you can get to that big breakthrough. But once you do, I think it just that you see that it's all worth it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and this is why, it's 6 or 12 months, because people think it's like, if I don't see results in, a day or a week or a month, and it's like it's gonna take time to rewire your brain, but everybody has that breakthrough moment at
Hmm.
one period of time in their journey. And like you said, once you have that, it's like you're no longer climbing up that crazy heavy mountain. It's like you're going downhill, and it's like you're on a slide, and you're like, wee, like I'm
Yeah.
actually experiencing the freedom. So
Yeah. And I mean, I still have a long ways to go on my journey, but I can tell myself like I 100% know that I will heal my relationship with food. Like I have no doubt about it. And part of that is just kind of knowing that I'm not going to be perfect and that I'm going to have bad days and I'm going to overeat and I'm going to do these things. But I think just how much more self-aware I am in my body and how I feel and being better about making decisions that work best for me.
huge, huge.
Yeah.
It's not about the behavior, it's how you speak to yourself after the behavior that sets you
Hmm.
up for the next week or the next month. It's like you can either let that control you and again hold on to this identity. See, I'm an overeater, I'm a binge eater. Or you can say, don't love the fact that I just ate that much today, but we're moving on. And that's somebody who's going to conquer.
Yeah.
So huge. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I so appreciate your time and coming on and sharing. And now you'll have this to look back on as well too. And thank you just so much for coming on and sharing your heart. And I'm just so proud of you. And I just love your determination, your mindset. And I mean, obviously, I attract people like that in my world who are so batshit committed. It's amazing. But kudos to you for sticking through it and, really committing to this journey for yourself.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. You've helped me tremendously.
Oh, so good. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Megan, and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.